is Monday. That means it's Mock Draft Monday, and this is the finale of the WayneBreezie Show's mock drafts. We're at 16.0. Smash that like button. Let's get to it, faithful. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy, the WayneBreezie, one of your favorite 49er content creators, and I'm glad to be here. It is Monday, which means get the alarm ready. It's time for the finale of mock draft season. That's right. I do several mock draft shows, but for the WayneBreezie Show, this will be the finale, all right? So I'm going to look to address this mock draft as close to as what I predict the San Francisco 49ers to do. I could be wrong, but I will do it as close as to what I predict the 49ers will do. Now, you may not agree, and that is okay, but what I need you to do, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're already subscribed, you don't have to do that, but if you do want to support me right here on this channel so I can continue to bring great content, please smash that join button, become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. I'm going to be doing live draft shows, and I'm going to be looking to have some fun with the faithful and the Breezie Bunch crew out there. So make sure you become a member. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezie. All right, if you want to rock the coolest caps that your favorite players are wearing, man, you're going to want to become part of the residency family. So go ahead and join residency. Use that promo code SFBreezie so you can save on your total purchase. That's right. On your total purchase, you'll get a percentage off. So go ahead and get $5 off. Use that promo code SFBreezie. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get to this finale of the mock draft. Now, for PFF, things have been changing. Players have been moving up on the draft board, on their draft board, and we're going to see how this draft technically flows to the San Francisco 49ers. Will the 49ers trade in this real draft? Potentially. They have 11 picks. They may look to move up, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I think they're going to address several needs in this particular draft, whether they get more picks or they end up having less picks. Either way, they're going to hit and knock some of these picks out of the park. That's what I'm expecting. So let's go ahead and get the mock draft cracking. I've never seen Mason Graham in my mock drafting life go number one, and this is changing the game right off the board. They are doing me dirty. I thought I was going to get a mock draft which I can kind of like relate to, but let's talk about it. Mason Graham going number one to Tennessee, highly unlikely. People, when you watch it, you're going to say that's unrealistic, and I get it. But hey, the computer is picking Mason Graham. Travis Hunter going number two. Cool. Will Campbell to the Giants. The first time I've seen the Giants address the offensive line. It's the first time they're actually doing something right. Abdul Carter going to the Patriots. Ted McMillan to the Jaguars. Jahdae Barron to the Raiders. Cam Ward, first quarterback off the board. Armand Membu to the Panthers. They're going offensive line there to protect their young quarterback. Walter Nolan to the Saints. I don't see anything wrong with that. It probably more than likely will be the team that snubs the San Francisco 49ers if this is a guy that they've been high on. All right, so as far as 49er needs, guard, tackle, defensive line, corner. And this is where it gets interesting, right? Because I feel like the 49ers, my number two tackles are gone. Membu, Will Campbell. My number three, probably Kelvin Banks. I like Kelvin Banks. The Niners, they should like Kelvin Banks. They had a top 30 visit with him. All right. But what if the number one corner is available and Will Johnson? There's a possibility that they go that route. Doesn't seem likely, but I understand if they chose to go that route. Here's what the best case scenario would be for the San Francisco 49ers. Now is really time to start thinking about moving back, right? Because I still feel the Niners need to address, all right, they need to address the defensive line first and foremost, whether it's edge, whether it's interior, that needs to be addressed. And I'm just looking at, and we're going to play the picks game. I do like this Minnesota Vikings pick. That would be dropping back 13 spots, but I don't see the Vikings looking to trade and give up I don't see the Vikings looking, maybe they trade out of the first round, but that wouldn't make sense for the 49ers Actually, it does. What if we gave, let's say we wanted 2 first-round picks, right? And we gave up 43 and 75. All right, we gave up 43 and 75. We moved back into the first round. This will net us 2 first-round picks. And this is a realistic trade, right? Because when you look at the Vikings, they only have 4 picks. Now, it might not be realistic as the timing that I'm looking to do this. And I also might be looking to trade back as well. But I'm going to entertain this trade right here. Give up 43 and 75. Offer this trade. Boom, that's been selected. So the first trade, and we're going to look to trade again, all right? Because we can essentially, right, we got 2 first-round picks, trade that 11th pick, move back, and then get back those top 100 picks, all right? So let's just say we move back to, I would say, the Texans, possibly. Texans, we get 58. I like that. Yeah, so I'm looking to get a pick in the 50s. The Steelers only have 83. So let's go back to the Texans. We can move back. You know, we could swap these picks right here. And just for the trade value, that is only going to be 100 points worth. So we can't necessarily ask the Miami Dolphins for pick 48, but we can get pick 98 if you wanted to move 2 spots back, right? So it's just looking for pick 98 on my big chart. And pick 98 is worth 108 points. So it would be a little bit over the value of it. But that's if we trade back 2 spots. Or, and that's us picking at 48, which was, picking at 98, which would be, that means you'll get 98 and 100. It was kind of like back-to-back picks in the 3rd round. So it's an extra 3rd round pick you get for just moving back 2 spots. Is that something that the Niners should do? But going back to this Texans, like I would look to swap picks with the Texans and see if I can get 58. Now, 25, all right, got to get my calculator out. It's worth 720 points, all right? So if I do 1250 minus 720, that's 530. So I can essentially ask for pick 58, which is only 320 points. What did I say? 530 minus 320. So that's still 210 points. So I can ask for pick 58 from Houston and pick 89 if I'm being nice and get my picks back. So let's just do, pick 79. I didn't see 79. I'll do 79. That should be closer to the value. So pick 79 as 195 points from 210. So let me make sure I did my math right. 1250. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I want to make sure I'm clear on the math from the calculator, right? From the points chart. So I apologize if my pick is taking too long. I get 10 minutes. So 1250 minus, I said 720. That's 530. 530 minus, I said pick 320. That leaves me with 210. 210 minus 195. And I'll eat that. 15 points. I'll eat that. So I'm going to see if Houston, and I'll move back 14 spots, especially if I'm looking to get one of those defensive tackles. Okay. And hopefully I could get the Derek Harmon or the Kenneth Grant. I think that's the key. Now, they might move up to get Kenneth Grant. That might be their guy. So I'm going to offer this trade. It says it will more than likely be accepted. Technically, they owe me 15 more points. So if I wanted another pick, I can ask them to add in the pick. Let's see. Where does Houston? They don't have anything in the 6th round. I do want a 6th round pick. And unfortunately, they don't have a 6th round pick. That is crazy. They don't have a 6th round pick. I could ask them for pick number I'm gonna do some wheeling and dealing. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna ask for pick number 166, and then I'll owe them 10 points. So let me see if I can find a 49ers pick. We don't have anything that's in that 10-point value because we don't have a 6th round pick. Dang. All right, so I'll stay right here. We'll offer the trade, and we'll see what happens. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and resume the draft. We made some trades happen, and let's just see how the board falls. All right. to see how the board falls to the 49ers. Okay, we're on the board, and I talked about getting Kenneth Grant. I have back-to-back picks right here because I have Minnesota's pick, okay, and I have the pick that I just traded for from Houston. All right. And Houston, they decided to trade up and they went and grabbed the running back NGNT. All right. So they traded up to get one of those blue players. All right. I'm not mad at them for that. My pick is in. I'm going to go Kenneth Grant with the athletic defensive interior tackle. We're talking a guy that can chase down runs, a guy that's great in run defense, can still rush the passer even at his size. So even at his size, and he has the speed and he has the ability, you can see that pass rush run rate is there. Run stop rate is pretty good. All right. And he plays a really good counterpart out there. You know, we're going to get him some help, obviously, in this draft. But first pick off the board is going to be Kenneth Grant from Michigan. All right. Now, I got back-to-back picks. Okay. Back-to-back picks. I could look to address another position in this draft. But you know what? I traded up. And I traded up to see if I was going to be able to land the edge rusher, and I don't see him. So let me keep scrolling. I just want to make sure, because I'm going to get the edge rusher that I feel like the 49ers are probably high in on. I'm not going to waste any time. The pick is in because I've wasted a lot of time. So on my 2 first-round picks, I've just landed Kenneth Grant and edge rusher Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M. Those are my 2 picks. So I just banged out 2 first-round picks. I did the math. I gave y'all the math on it. And I don't pick again to 58. So I'm not at regular 43, but I am at 58. All right? I am at 58 in this pick. All right? So I do get to still pick in round 2. It's just a little bit later, which might serve the purpose for the Niners. Now, we've addressed the defensive line. For those that are not familiar, we got Kenneth Grant, and then we got the freak athletic Shamar Stewart, which I think the value at pick 25 fits. This is a way I can see the 49ers trying to move to make sure that where they draft, it gives them the best value. All right. So we've addressed the defensive line point blank period. Will we do it again? Possibly. And we still have 1, 2, 3 more picks in the top 100. So we're going to end up with 1 extra pick in the top 100. We're going from 4 to 5, and I love it. Now, we do have teams that are looking to move up, all right, which means we'll get more picks. But I'm okay with that. Like, I don't want to move back out of the second round. So let's go ahead and get our second round pick. Let's see who is available in the second round. I feel like we need a linebacker. The question is the value for the linebacker right now. Do I want to go that route? I'm a little bit unsure. I feel like we need to go offensive line here. And, you know, when I think about the Niners and their offensive line, I'm probably going to reach for a player. We do need a guard. We do need a tackle. Love our Ariante Ursery. Think he would fit here very well as a tackle. You can see he can play left tackle. He can play right tackle. And we're looking to replace Jalen Moore right at this moment. Like, who's going to be the next swing tackle? But this might be a little bit too rich for the Niners in drafting the tackle. Okay, it just may be just a little too rich. I do see some skill positions out there. I do see Demetrius Knight out there as well as far as linebackers. They haven't met with him, but if you're looking for a guy that can move sideline to sideline, I feel like he'll be the best value at this point. I don't pick again to 79. So if I'm gonna go interior, then it's a little nervous, right? Because I feel like with the guard position, now you could draft a guy like Marcus Bowe, slide him in and play guard, cool. But I really like Tate Ratledge, Jarrett Wilson as the center. So just looking at these 2 positions, it's like, where do I go? And I feel like Tate Ratledge they need a guard. They need a guy to kind of really come in and replace Banks. And a guy that can play left guard and right guard. I feel like this would be the smart and wise pick. So my pick is in. It's a little bit out of my ranking. All right. I'm drafting a couple of spots earlier, and I tried to see if I can drop down maybe 5 or 10 spots. But the trades are a lot, right? So 71. I'm not looking to move that far back. So I feel like this is what I'm gonna do. Sometimes you're gonna have to reach for these players. Yes, I see Caleb Johnson, one of my top 5 running backs, Travion Henderson, Olawufemi, Oladejo is there. I don't think I'm gonna double up on edge right away, even though I like the player. I do see Andrew Makuba there. Don't think the 49ers take a safety early. Kyle Williams, love him as a wide receiver, but don't necessarily need a wide receiver. Cornerback though, Azariah Thomas is there. Trey Harris is there. Ooh. Ooh, this gets interesting. I said my pick was in. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I would love to get that corner out, that receiver outside the X. I'm not gonna go receiver here. I said I'm not gonna go receiver here. All right, so my pick is in. I'm gonna go Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. All right, let's keep it going. We got pick 79 coming up for the San Francisco 49ers. This was a pick that I was able to trade and got from Houston. All right, so Houston gave it back. And look, we still have value. We still have value. Now, I don't feel like the 49ers will go back-to-back on offensive linemen. I think they change it up just a little bit. But just looking at the value, I see Ozzie Trapillo there. I see Marcus Bowe there. I see the athletic tight end Terrence Ferguson, another edge rusher, Jonas Avenea. So there's some offensive linemen, Wyatt Milam. But I think the 49ers right here are going to probably look to get their linebacker. Now, this is a kid that they brought in for a top 30 visit. I actually spoke to him, and he is excited. I'm hoping that the Niners do look this guy's way. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. Great tackler. Look at his missed tackle rate. It's only 4.5% missed tackle rate. That's phenomenal. All right, over 73 tackles last year, and you can see him. He just improved. A little bit undersized, but I don't think that matters. You're asking him to play you're asking him to play the weak side, right? Him being a slightly undersized, you're probably not going to have him playing the strong side covering tight ends, but that doesn't mean he can't do it. I'm going Chris Paul Jr. out of Mississippi. All right, Chris Paul Jr. out of Mississippi. And I'm expecting that to be a low grade because they don't feel like we need a linebacker. But I do know that Dre Greenlaw isn't there, and I know the linebackers become a little scarce later on down the road. I do. Now, I did talk about potentially going with an offensive lineman, but I think offensive tackle, but I still think we can wait. I still think waiting for the tackle is the key, right? And I'm not going to trade out of this third pick. I know I can move out. I could gain more picks with the Giants, whatever. But no, we're going to draft in the third round, all right? Charles Grant is one of the most athletic tackles in this draft, one of the most athletic players in this draft. He would be a phenomenal piece for the San Francisco 49ers, hands down. Phenomenal piece. We still not have addressed the tight end position. I feel like we can go double up on the edge. We can double up on the interior. We can easily do that. But I think in round 3, it's time to kind of start looking at. There are 2 players on the San Francisco 49ers that I feel like are all pros, and the Niners, in my opinion, need to keep them all pros. We did it for the linebacker. Let's do it for the tight end. And I've been mock drafting Harold Fannin Jr. for the longest, and I'm not going to stop. Yep, I'm going to pass up on Charles Grant. I'm going to pass up on Ashton Gelati. That's fine. I'm going to find depth at those positions. I've already addressed them. Interior, edge. I went interior O-line. I'm going linebacker. Here, Harold Fannin Jr. is going to be the tight end. My top 100 picks, just to do a quick recap: Kenneth Grant, Shamar Stewart, Tate Ratledge, Chris Paul Jr., and Harold Fannin Jr. And some people are going to be like, yo, you found a guard as a top 100 player? I absolutely did. Look what I did with the offensive line. Got athletic. That's what we did. We addressed the offensive line, got athletic. Now I got a versatile tight end back there who can still be damaged in run blocking. He is tremendous in run blocking. Boom. All right. So now in the 4th round, this is where it can kind of get a little bit tricky. I did say I'm looking to probably move back into round 6, right? I did say I want a 6th round pick. The question is, I have pick 113 coming up and pick 138. So I can drop back with Washington to get 128 if I want it, but will and get and gain, in my opinion, pick 205. Now a lot of people may feel like this is not a good trade, but I'm looking to, there's going to be some really good cornerback talent, safety talent in round 6. And so from a Niners perspective, without giving up anything in the future, let's see if I can move back. All right. So now pick 113 for the San Francisco 49ers. I got my calculator back out. Pick 113. We're in the 4th round. Is 68 points. All right. So 68 points. And I'm moving down with Washington to pick 128, which is 44 points. So 68, pardon me. Let's see. 68 minus 44 is 24 points. And I'm looking to get a 6th round pick from Washington, which would only, I might be able to get a 5th round pick from Washington. Now that I think about it, does Washington have a 5th round? If I can get another 5th. So 205 is the pick that I'm looking to add. And pick 205 is in round 6. It's toward the end of round 6. That's only 9 points. So technically, they're going to owe me some points. So this might not be a good trade. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not a good trade. So it's okay to say not a good trade if you feel like, you know, there's a lot of points out there on the table. Again, we can move down with Buffalo and look to gain that. Like, you get what I'm saying? So move further back, pick 132 and 138 in round 4, and let's try this Buffalo trade. So pick 113 again is 68. Pick 132 is worth, ladies and gents, drum roll please, 40. All right, so that changes up stuff a little bit. That's 28 points. All right, 28 points. Now I can look to get a 5th round pick from Buffalo. All right, so I can look to ask for their pick 170. 170. They have a couple of 5th round picks. They'll give up a 5th. So pick 169. They have 169, 170, and 173. So I'm gonna ask for pick 169. That is worth 23.8 points, which will leave me with 5 points. And I'm just trying to see if they do. So they have, all right, so we're going to do some swapping here. All right, so I'm going to ask for pick 1. I tell you what, I'm going to ask for pick, I got 28. I'm trying to make this as even as possible, as fair as possible. All right, and looking at the Buffalo chart, they have pick 169, 170, and 173. So if I go with pick 173, that's worth 22.2 points. So minus 22.2, right? Like that leaves me with 5.8 points left. And I'm going to ask for pick 206. So 206, which is worth 8.6 points. So technically, I'm going to give him a 7th rounder. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to ask for this. What pick did I say? 173, I believe. 173, because 177 is in the 5th. So they do have an early 6th, but I'm going to get their late 6th. So pick 173, and I'm going to ask for pick 210. So we're going to move up a few. We're going to move up a few. Oh, they're not even showing 210 here. Maybe they traded it already. So maybe 206 is what I'm looking for. Yes, 206. My apologies. So 206, and we're going to give them back 252. All these 7th round picks are worth 1 point. So we'll give them, they'll be able to trade in the 7th round. Let's offer the trade, see what happens. Boom. Trade has been accepted. So yes, we dropped back several spots, and I know a lot of people out there going to be like, yo, why'd you drop back so many spots? Well, because of the value. Like, I'm probably going to look to get potentially a corner here, right? Probably, or running back here. So let's see who falls to the San Francisco 49ers in the 4th round. Still got 4th round picks, but we just picked up an extra 5th and a 6th. All right, and we just moved on from one of our 7ths. That's the cost of moving up. And I said, like, this can potentially work in the 49ers' favor. All right, so at pick 132, Niners can go safety. We could double up here. I do like Jalen Reed. Thought he came in and filled in really well. But I do see Aeneas Peoples, and I talked about doubling up, right? I talked about doubling up. Now, I do feel like pick 132 might be slight reach, but I don't care. I don't care. I want to make sure that in front, I got the big fella and I get the little quick, strong fella. And so I'm going to go ahead and do it and get the guy that I see on the table, draft Aeneas Peoples out of Virginia Tech. All right. Now we do pick 147 as well. And so that's cool. But now we get that. That was our extra pick. Remember, that wasn't even our pick. That was the pick we traded for. Now let's use our 4th round pick. And we're going to look to get kind of like the best player available at the position. I think the 49ers go running back here. A lot of people don't like Brashard Smith. But if you want the former wide receiver translating into a running back, this is the guy. I know he's not elusive and he doesn't have the 4-point-something yards after the contact. But listen, ask me if I care. He still has 52 missed tackles forced. He's still averaging 5.7 yards per attempt on the ground, 14 TDs, and just look at the targets out of the backfield. He's the best receiving back coming out of the backfield in this draft. And so I think Bobby Turner gets another 4th round draft pick. So let's go ahead and give it to him, baby. All right. Round 5, here we come, and we are quick, fast, and a hurry in round 5. Now, this is where I feel like the Niners are going to look to address the tackle position. We have 3 5th-round picks right now, and I think they're going to get a couple of, like, we already done the interior, so we can cross off those interior defensive tackles. Again, if I am looking, I'm looking to get my cornerback around this round. We got a few picks that we can kind of look into it with. No freaking problem. All right, there's some interest in some of those players up there. And so interior defensive tackle, cross off the board. Don't need another one. But I do want to look to address the edge again. So there's some players out there. I like Josh Joyner, Fidel Diggs. All right, so we got some time, I think, to get another special player out on the edge. All right, now pick 147. Again, to me, this is tackle round. You're in the 5th round. Who can I get that can come in here, show a little bit of versatility, give me some athleticism out there? Well, why not go after the left tackle, Logan Brown from Kansas, former teammate of Dominic Pooney, who they drafted last year. I think this would be a solid pick, too, by the way. Left tackle, right tackle, guard. He can play on the offensive line. My pick is in, and you can see his run block grade, his zone grade. They are pretty daggone decent. 618 snaps on the offensive line and didn't give up 1 sack. Only 6 pressures, and those 6 pressures were hurries. Let that sink in for a second. The pick is in. The 49ers select Logan Brown, tackle, Kansas. Now we got our other original 5th-round pick. All right. Well, this is the one we got in the trade. All right. And so pick 160 we got right now. So I feel like there's a couple of positions that the Niners can look to address right here. And I think this is where they get the safety. The last time we drafted a safety in the 5th round, I believe it was Talanoa Hufanga. Well, why not look to the 5th round and get another safety? Why not look into the 5th round? Now, I do like Jalen Reed. I thought he came in and filled in really well. Jordan Hancock can play safety as well as corner, so you get the versatility there. But there's something about this kid out of Cal named Craig Woodson that I absolutely love. And I think Craig Woodson would be the perfect fit. He plays the deep safety. He can also play in the box, so he can cover your tight ends. He can do all that type of stuff. You can see his size, 6 feet, 210, so he's a bigger safety, strong guy. Pick is in for me. And then here's the thing that I love, 21.1% forced incompletion rate. 21.1% forced incompletion rate. The pick is in. Craig Woodson, Cal. Now we got a couple of extra picks that we're normally not using in this draft. So now we can play around, and now we can look to get some of these players that are still spread out throughout this draft. Remember, the Niners don't usually see the draft until around round 7, but now we got an extra 5th-round pick from the trades that we had, as well as a 6th-round pick. And we did a lot of dealing and wheeling. We addressed the safety position. That's done. That's in the books. We still need to go corner. We haven't addressed corner yet, and this is around where I think they got the tackle, they get the safety. Let's look at the cornerbacks available. All right, Za Frazier is a corner that they have been pretty high on. They've been showing interest in out of UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio, for those that don't know what that stands for. And you can see he's only allowed a 37.7 passer rating, excuse me, as I kiss the sky. All right, now, where can I get him? Will he fall? Will he fall to 206? See, that's the question. That's the question. If not, you got to reach. And you know what? I like Denzel Burke. I think Denzel Burke is good zone coverage corner. I want kind of like a good zone coverage as well. And a guy that's going to be really good against the run. You can see he struggles in man coverage. That's cool. But I think that the Niners having interest in him sticks out a little bit more. Is it a reach at 173? Yes, 20 spots. No team is looking to trade down. I could play the game. Do I think I could get him in the 6th round? That's the game you're going to play. That's the game you're going to play. Let's look at wide receivers and see the value of the wide receivers. I see Kunate Mumfield here. He's an ex-wide receiver. Don't care about none of these stats. Trust me when I say I like what I see on the film. Really good hands, in my opinion. The production is low out there from Pitt, but I think that the 49ers can turn this guy into a nice ex-wide receiver on the outside where it's not costing them a lot. Keandre Lambert Smith, another stud out there, 6'1", 182, smaller body frame, but another guy that can make big catches. You know I love me some Nick Nash. This is a kid that I'm really high on when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm hoping that they draft him. He has pretty decent speed, and he's the bigger body type of the wide receivers, and so they can go that route as well, but it's man, this is tough. This is tough, right? This is tough. Let's just see best player available. We got the tackle. All right, we're not going to go corner here. I do like Jared Harrison Hunt. We're not going to go safety again. Did we get a tight? We did get the tight end. We got the tight end. I am looking at corner. Feel like I said we can double up on edge. I did say we could double up on the edge. Do I go edge here? Interesting. Got our running back. We got our running back. Ja Joyner. See, it would be more of a reach. Ooh, Fidel Diggs. I like Ja Joyner, though. The Niners will get 2 defensive interior guys with, like, freakish abilities, like 6'5", 265, you know? And if we already went with Shamar Stewart out there, he would be the exact opposite. I think my pick is in. I think I'm going to double up in Ja Joyner. Ooh, this is a solid draft. And I'm hoping the corner that I like. Again, I could go Denzel Burke out of Ohio State as well. So there's a couple of corners that I feel like are available in round 6 that the Niners could snatch up for sure. For sure. All right, so Justin Wiley is still there. Zah Frazier is there. So he lasted, and I got lucky. I got really lucky because this is a kid that I like. So 6th round, we're going to draft cornerback Zah Frazier out of UTSA. Again, great in zone coverage. All right, only allowed 47.4 completion percentage. So that's under 50% of his passes on targets that he's given up. And so I could dig that. I could dig it. He forced 8 incompletions. He did drop 2 interceptions. We got to work on that. But again, 6'3", 185. This is that kind of like that Richard Sherman build that the Niners kind of like. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and get my man Zah freaking Frazier. And we're back to the 7th round, and we have our original 7th round picks, 227 and 249. We gave up 252 to the last team that we traded with. And then you guys can let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Now, we did not go wide receiver yet. Andrew Armstrong out of Arkansas, okay, is a phenomenal wide receiver. Nobody's talking about him. Only 4 drops, 1,000-yard receiver. He's averaged over 14.6 yards per reception. The issue with him is his production as far as touchdowns are low, but he's a wide out. He only played 420 snaps, but he's great against zone. And so that's probably why you see the big spike in the grade or whatnot. But you can see he's kind of like around like his snaps. He's played 420 snaps, and his snaps went up as far as the years, and he played in one less game in 2024. I'm not sure why we're passing on this kid. He's 6'4". It's probably just because of measurables. Haven't really seen him run. Nobody really knows much about him. Nobody and again, nobody really knows much much about him. I can see Eastern Washington got their wide receiver up here, and this is, to me, in the 7th round. You're looking for those small school guys, right? You're looking for guys from small schools with speed. Nobody's got really on the radar. 12 games, 395 pass snaps. He played 1,306 yards, and then the production is there. A little less than 14, but 10 is cool. So that sounds like he's probably a slot receiver, 5'11", 200 pounds. All right, so he's a slot. He's coming out of different type of competition. If the Niners wanted to go that route, they could. I see Ricky White there. Again, this is a guy that's going to play special teams. I'm looking for special teams ability right now, and Ricky White being there pretty much, I think, might be my pick. Ricky White, he has block punts, block attempts on special teams. That's what you need. A guy that's going to come in, he can give you reps, but where is he going to get off on special teams? That's where he's going to dominate, and that's what you need. You need playmakers on special teams. Ricky White is the pick for me at 227. We got one pick left, man. Pick 249 for my final mock draft. This has been interesting because I feel like I really did the damn thing when it came to the trades in this mock draft. You might disagree, but I really feel like I took it a lot more serious. I'm not saying that I've never taken it serious, but I gave you guys all the numbers, and the numbers worked out. So if you guys aren't numbers people and you still don't like it, understood, but this is pretty spot on in my opinion. Again, I'm looking for special teams value, and I'm looking to create depth, right? So special teams value and depth. And when I look at depth, I'm saying to myself, all right, is there another special teams fast guy I can get out there on the football field? And the Niners actually have interest in this particular linebacker, Kane Madrano. You're talking about the fastest linebacker out there. He's your coverage guy. You can see at 6'3", so he reminds you he's the Fred Warner build, right? So at 6'3", he can tackle, all right? 63 tackles, 14 assisted tackles, all right? The missed tackle rate is pretty high. That's why he's this low. I mean, he's got to work on his tackling ability, but we can stay away from him. We're looking for guys with speed, all right, where that missed tackle rate isn't that crazy through the roof. Here's a kid out of Indiana that's been really consistent out there on the football field. Like, you look at his years in and his years, and he's been very, very consistent, and I like consistency. And when I say consistency, 10 games 90.7, 10 games 80.6, 13 games 82.7, and you can see the snaps they started high, went down a little bit, went high again, all right, and he played more games. The tackles were there. 13 missed tackles, I'll dig it, is way better than 26. All right, he only allowed 1 TD, and he got 2 interceptions. So we're looking at another linebacker that can drop back in coverage, a little smaller, but again, will they be able to be dominant on special teams? And that, to me, is key. We could also be looking at another wide receiver, but I feel like we got the wide receiver on special teams. We don't need to add another running back, and I don't think the 49ers are going to add a quarterback in the draft. I think they're going to look to get a guy undrafted again and bring him in here to compete. That's just my take on it. Kareem Reed, another player that I met at the Senior Bowl. But I think I like Jalen Walker, Kane Madrano, Eugene Ashanti, another fast kid. This kid ran through the roof. The question is, he struggles in coverage, right? And so, look, I need a guy that I know that if anything was to happen to any of my starting players, can come in and pick up where the buck stops, that leaves off. It's going to be Johnny Walker for me. And we're going to go Jalen Walker out. I said Johnny Walker because I was thinking of the drink. We're going to go Jalen Walker out of Indiana with the last pick. And there is the finale mock draft in the books. Give yourselves, faithful, a round of applause. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. Now, a few trades, and I'm gonna break all this stuff down on my Patreon. So make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. All right, www.patreon.com/TheWayneBreezie. It's right there. You can see it right there. And I'm gonna dive into these players and go a little bit more depth into these players that we drafted. Okay. Now they didn't like this. The mock draft assistant said I should have went cornerback, which I should have. The value was there for Azariah Thomas, but I feel like he's not fast enough to be a corner. I love him. He's one of my top 5 corners, but I don't know if he fits the speed build that the Niners want at corner. So that's why I went with the speed offensive lineman, all right? And so, like, look, a lot of my grades ended up getting shiced, but we finished with a B+. I think overall we did the daggone thing, you know, a couple of low grades. The D+ was probably the lowest grade on here. Not sure why they gave Craig Woodson a D+. I think the Niners in round 5 will go safety. I think that's something that they will do. But just a quick recap of the trades. We traded up with the Minnesota Vikings and ended up with another first-round pick. So we gave away our second and third-round pick, and then we traded back with the Houston Texans and swapped that first round, our original first-round pick. So we had back-to-back first-round picks in this draft, and we were able to gain back the second and the third, all right, for swapping back our 11s. This is something I can see the 49ers doing. And then we traded down again with the Buffalo Bills in the 4th round, almost 20 spots, 19 spots, right? We traded down, but we were 8, and we traded our 5th round. We traded our 7th round. So we traded our 4th and our 7th, but we gained their 4th, a 5th, and a late 6th. So we were able to gain a couple of extra picks, and that's how the draft panned it out. All right. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Make sure you smash that like button. And again, thank y'all so much for rocking with your boy all off season long. The draft is on its way, and we're going to see how all this pans out, faithful. So stick around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and make sure you become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. Next time, keep it faithful to the. What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.